So we're always looking for something to do on the golf course and something to share with you guys that doesn't require equipment and something that doesn't take a lot of time and keeps you off the ground. Because there's lots of stretching and cool stuff that you can do, but most of the time it puts you on the ground. And if the grass is wet or it's cold or just whatever, it's easier when you don't have those barriers to doing some movement prep while you're playing. Because if it's easy to do, you're more likely to do it. So we're going to do some bilateral hip circles. Bilateral. Yes, we're going to use both sides. So there's lots of different types of hip circles that you can do. These are great because they travel anywhere. I tend to find myself doing them in the gym, just hanging out. These are going to take your hips through extension, flexion, internal, external rotation. They're just going to go lots and lots of different ranges of motion through your hips as you articulate through these circles. And in the golf swing, we need all those different ranges of motion to create a good backswing, a downswing, produce force from the ground up to keep your lower back safe. When your hips move really well, your lower back can be the stable segment that it's supposed to be. When your hips are not moving well, it's very common to recruit your lower back for movement, rotation, and it doesn't like that. So mobile hips help to keep your back feeling good. And when you're walking along on the golf course, this could be a great drill to help your legs kind of feel strong, so you can have a nice gait, good walking pattern as you're cruising along. So you're going to take a wide stance, and you're going to have to experiment a little bit to find the sweet spot for you. It gets a little bit more difficult the wider you go because it requires more mobility in your hips to make circles. So you can go hands on your hips, and you're going to sit your butt back. Little bit of a somewhat stiffness in the knees, like we're not going bent, we're kind of straight leg. And then you shift your hips over to one side, your knee will bend, this one will stay straight, and you'll get kind of groiny stretch. And maybe a little bit of hamstring too. And then you'll push your hips forward, keeping this leg straight, this one's bent, and you'll start to get a stretch in the front of your hip, kind of hip flexor type of muscles. And then you go forward, and when you go forward and you squeeze your glutes, you might even get stretch in both hips. And then as you drop over to the other side, the stretch will really focus on the straightening leg. And then you go back, it'll go groin muscles, and then hamstring, and just articulate around through the circle, and then it'll transition to the other leg. So the leg that's straightening is the one that's going to get most of the stretch. So you go counterclockwise maybe 3 to 5 times. You go clockwise 3 to 5 times. Sprinkle this in your day, break up some of the sitting you're doing. It's going to help keep your hips mobile so you can play great golf and have less pain when you play. Okay, so just a different perspective. So where are my hips going if you're looking at kind of this angle? So I'm going back. So there's this really big hinge, and if you're familiar with the gym, you could say it's kind of like going through a good morning a little bit.